Hi guys, this is Alex from Mason Lifestyle. I hope everybody is doing well. Finally, the kids are back in school, which is absolutely awesome, and I am trying to get myself back into some sort of a routine. As I told you guys, I started taking coding classes back when the summer had started. So I am doing that. Things are getting a little bit more complicated. So it's taking me a little bit more time to just kind of get through that phase of my day and then a focus on the sewing, which is really kind of like my stress reliever, my hobby, my fun thing to do. But today's video is about talking how to do how to use remnants. And guys, I don't know about you, but I have become the remnant queen. I don't know if you guys look for them at your local fabric store or if you look for them on websites, but I certainly do. I like just this past weekend, I got this from Joann's. It's a really nice cotton, 100% cotton fabric, and it was like 1.25 yards. I also got this. That's like 1.3 yards. Linen. And it was one of those days that it was like 75% off of remnants. And this is like 1.3 yards. So not bad. And I thought that I would do a video if you have a bunch of remnants of patterns that you can use to work with remnants. Anything from 1.5 yards less, and a lot of these are less than 1.5 yards. And as usual, guys, I'm using size 20 because, right, if I can't wear it size 20, then it's not it's size 20 and big 4. So the measurement for size 20 in the big 4 patterns, if I mention an indie pattern, know that I'm going really by measurements, not so much size. And also 60-inch wide fabric. So if you're thinking that you can do this with 45-inch, which sometimes you can, but you know, set yourself up for success, right? So in Imperial friends, if you are trying to figure out 1.5 yards, I'm talking about 1.3 meters, 1.3 meters. So give or take, all right? Guys, some of them, usually here locally, I find a lot of the remnants at Joann's. I will also say that a website online that I go to quite a bit is also called Gather Here online, and I'll put it on my blog. I'll put a link. They do have a remnant section. It's a pretty good one, but I can tell that things move really quickly on their website. And also one of my favorites, of course, StyleMakerFabrics.com has an amazing salvage yard. That's what they call it, the salvage yard tab. And I probably go over there at least 2-3 times a week because their remnant section is very generous in terms of a length of fabric that they give you. And of course, that Duck Lily remnant sale that just happened about a week or 2 weeks ago, which is really nice, but let's not kid ourselves, right? For some of those, you have to have pretty nice budget for that. So I'm looking for remnants that are smaller and that I can buy for at least like between $10 to $15 or less. If it's like less than $5, it is like I hit the jackpot. I feel awesome. I probably sing a little song around here. So, but let me tell you, and guys, all of these are in the blog. I put a link. I'm trying to make sure that a lot of these patterns are available. So if there's a sale, you can keep your eyes out for it. So first one right off the bat, it's New Look 6703. And guys, this is a skirt pattern and you can make this in different fabrics. So again, think denim. I seem to have a love affair with stretch twill these days, canvas, or even gabardine. So you can make yourself a skirt. You can make it with view A. View B is, I don't know what's with the little string in there. whatever happens there, it's okay. But fall's coming, so you can wear this with a nice chunky sweater, perhaps boots, or if you are somewhere down south where heat reality is still going on, just go ahead and make yourself a nice skirt and perhaps some sandals, a nice tank top, and go about your life. I also wanted to talk about these because I have been living on my Lander shorts and Danny shorts the entire summer. I actually had gotten 2 yards of this stretch twill from Joann's probably about a year ago. And I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do with that? I don't think I had enough fabric for a pair of pants and pockets and all that stuff, but I did have enough fabric. It was 1 yard each for my Lander shorts and 1 yard each of the Danny shorts. And yes, you have lining for pockets and things like that. And of course, I just grabbed some scraps of fabric and did lining for those things. But you can get yourself shorts for 1 yard, okay? Awesome stretch twill, gabardine, denim, linen. You can make it with linen, right? So that's a nice little pattern there to have. If you haven't bought it, I highly recommend that one. A new pattern that just came out about 2 weeks ago, the kayak camisole from So Love Patterns. Guys, I tested this pattern. It is a dress, and it does have a bust dart. It has drafted for B cup. Their sizing is not hugely large, but her largest size fits me, again, size 20, right? And the pattern is free. You heard that correct. The pattern is free until September 4th of 2023. And I'm putting dates because somebody emails and says, why is the pattern not free? The pattern is free until September 4th of 2023. If you go to my website, I put in a link and you can go. I believe you have to sign up for a newsletter and you can download this pattern for free. It's a really nice little pattern to have, and it is very hackable. You can make the whole pattern with less than 1.5 yards of fabric, but you can use remnants. You can do color blocking if you wanted to. You can play with the way the grain line is going. So definitely a good pattern to have in your stash. Again, you can use this for the kayak camisole from So Love Patterns. Cute little pattern. I can see myself using it again and again. So also Butterick B6175. Guys, I thought that this was a really nice top. It's a semi-fitted pulled over top with a keyhole closure. It looks great if you want to just have a nice little top with a skirt, or perhaps even shorts, or perhaps if you wanted to wear this with trousers and go to work. I love a view E with the sleeve, and also look at the hem on it. It's got kind of like a scalloped hem. You're going to need 1.25 yards to make this pattern. So again, I think that would look really nice in like a linen or perhaps like a crepe, the sheen. So definitely take a look at that. One that I'm working on right now, that's a Vogue 1912, and the top takes 2 yards of fabric, so let's not even look there. And I think I need to do a whole blog post on this, on how to hack that top. But check out the shorts, right? And this is a pattern from Rachel Comey from her Handy Shorts, and I put a picture on the website, and I'll put a picture here too. Guys, you can make this one with 1 yard of fabric, okay? Again, size 20, you can do it. How do I know? Because I have already cut up muslin out of this, and I have made it with 1 yard of fabric. So definitely give that one a try. I would love to see if I can make these into really nice long pants. I love the pockets. It has a side zipper. It has a tab on the side for closure. And of course, it has some really nice fun pockets on the back. So definitely take a look at those. Also, I thought this was a fun one. I know a couple of weeks back I did a sew along on a Butterick pattern for a camp shirt, but if you're looking for something a little bit easier, that would be Butterick 6686. Take a look at that. Take a look at view A, right? It's a sample color with a front placket. I think if you have some cotton lawn fabric from Liberty Fabrics, this would be a really nice one. So definitely take a look at that. Butterick 6662, which I have a top made out of this, and I really like this pattern. Guys, if you have either view A or view B, you can make this with 1 3/8 or 1.5 yards, respectively. I know that mine is made with like a lyocell gauze from Joann's. It's really nice. You can also make this with a rayon. It's a nice little top to have. I don't know if I would call it casual. I think it really depends what fabric you use for this pattern. This one kind of caught my eye, and I was somewhat surprised that I had not seen this pattern before. It is Butterick 6663. It is a semi-fitted top with an invisible zipper. And guys, it is cut on the bias, and I'm thinking to use it because I have some fabric that I've had around here for probably like 2-3 years. And every time I look at the fabric, I just ask myself, what in the world am I gonna make with that? I never know. So I'm thinking, this might be perfect. So you can make view A, B, or C, and you will need between 1 3/8 or 1.5 yards of fabric. I will say this, if you are a beginner maker, perhaps this pattern, kind of put it off to the side. Bias, sewing on the bias can be a little bit tricky if you've never worked with it before. So I would definitely say get the pattern right when it's on sale and perhaps hold off on that. Put it off to the side. And of course, also talking about doing things on the bias, of course, perhaps kind of open your mind to the possibilities of working with fabric remnants if you are working with things on the bias. And if you are, take a look at McCall's 7931. McCall 7931. This is a pattern. This is a bias cut skirt. I've made one. I've made several one of those. If you're a beginner, let's talk here. If you're a beginner and want to learn how to work on the bias, this is a nice little pattern to start off with. I know that Mimi G created a sew along for this, and she explained it, some key things for you to kind of keep in mind for working on the bias. So perhaps take a step back on Butterick 6663, but definitely give this McCall pattern a try. It's McCall's 7931. It's a really nice pattern, and I definitely know that I probably will be using this fabric to make myself a bias cut skirt. So next one on the list, I thought it would be nice to find some sort of like knits, because I don't know about you, but I have been working on a couple of websites, and sometimes I buy 2 yards of fabric, which you kind of, I feel like everything with knits you can make with like 1.5 yards, 2 yards. So when you're getting like 3, it's like, what else are you making, right? So check out McCall's 7386. This is a knit dress, and no, you're not going to be doing something down to the floor, but probably something down to your knees, and that is for view B. It takes 1 3/8 yards of fabric for a knit. Of course, it is sleeveless, so you will most likely you'll be folding the neckline in and then stitching down. But again, if you have a fun knit with a lot of prints, or perhaps something that you can wear under a cardigan, this pattern is definitely a possibility. And I have this pattern and I can't believe that I have not made this dress, because I do have a couple of knits of fabric here that they're looking at me like, what are we gonna make? Another t-shirt? How about a dress, right? And guys, I know I said 10 patterns, but how about 1 or 2 more, okay? So here's another one. This is, and I've been looking at this pattern because there is a vintage pattern on Etsy that I would really love to get, but it is priced like $30, which I'm like, you are crazy, right? So this is Vogue 8815. If you look at a view B, and of course view A, you can make this with a yard and a quarter of fabric. It's a really nice pattern. I think if you go to work in an office, or perhaps you can make this in like in either a cotton lawn or even like a really nice rayon twill, right? You can make this pattern with a yard and a quarter of fabric. So again, that's another nice one. And I told you guys last week that I was working on the Aster top from True Bias. I finally got it fitted last night, so I have to make the top and then also make a dress because I made a muslin. But you can make that top with, it says, right, I'm making size 18, which if you look at the measurements, it's really a size 20, but you can do this with 1 1/4 yards of fabric for the top, and I added a couple of inches to this, to the length. So definitely keep that top in mind. It's a nice little scrap buster, just like that kayak camisole. If you are thinking, well, I don't really want to spend money on an indie pattern, take a look at New Look 6572. And I will say this, I don't have much luck finding New Look patterns by me. They're just, my local fabric store does not bring them, and I have to drive probably like an hour one way to the store that actually carries the biggest selection of them. But check it out. It's very similar. If you are, however, looking for size inclusive, then definitely take a look at True Bias, because a New Look pattern goes up to size 20, and that is it. So guys, what did you think of this video? Did you like it? If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you next week.